Okay, folks, welcome back. Don't know how much we'll get done today, but we're going to give it a shot to get something worthwhile completed. I'm going to start by putting all these colors that are outside where they're supposed to be away. We have a lot of encroachment here. And that's just what happens. It's funny, some colors get picked up all the time and moved around, and some just are just sitting over there and they're lonesome. Nobody ever loves them. Colors like, oh, you gonna have an attitude too? Sunset red. Not a whole lot of use for sunset red. Let me set this to all chat. Live chat, sorry. Live chat, not all chat. Put all these things out of the way and see if we can't finish the broom bar tonight. It's damn near finished. The mid colors that kind of go here in the middle. The middle mid colors. Even if I have to turn around and pull that same color back out, I want them out of here. These little Arab dudes, we got to get them out of here before something happens to them. They fall down or something. We certainly don't want to have to repair any of my 15mm figures. That's a sidetracking waiting to happen. Well, hopefully you guys watched our episode that we did last night. Had a lot of fun doing that. Definitely we'll be doing that again. Our ridiculous comedy show. Wish I could have announced it. I just don't know where I would have announced it. I could announce it on Facebook, I guess, but a lot of you guys aren't on Facebook, so. And I wouldn't have known exactly what time I'd be able to start, because it all depends on when I can get there. Because he's sitting on his lily all day long, but I think the feed worked pretty well. Worked as good as here. I hooked up onto his Wi-Fi, and it seemed to work pretty well. It's good. God, that thing's heavy. Let's do a little bit of maintenance. 4 viewers, 4 silent viewers. I would have thought there would have been some comments today on my video yesterday, but not that it would have done any good. You guys knew what you were going to get into. It's not like we should be pretty consistent on what comes out of our mouths. But we're going to do aircraft next. Okay. You're back in 5 minutes, just popping on to say hello. Hello, goodbye. Greetings, farewell. I don't want to look at this Picasso crap. Who's that guy? Jackson Pollock? If you think Jackson Pollock is a good artist, you must draw with crayons. Okay. Get the super readers out here. We're going to need this. And we're going to get the Nuln oil. What is the quick shade, the army painter version of Nuln oil? What's it called? Inky Depths. Because we're going to need it, get it, because I'm not rebuying this stuff. Citadel's too expensive, and this one's actually okay, but their material changed. If you look at the last iteration of Nuln oil, of Agrax Earthshade, which is this one, this behaves totally different than the Agrax Earthshade when it was in this size. It's like sticky and stuff. So, cost is one thing and performance is something else. And the performance just isn't very good, in my opinion. I'm not happy with the changes that they made to their formula for whatever reason. All right, we're going to use a brush that's relatively small. And let's get in here and add this where we need to have it. It's on these hatches and shit. Nobody on New Nordic was on there last night. Anybody else watch the show last night? What'd you think? You're probably disappointed I didn't show Mitch's feet. You're welcome. You insolent lid. Let's see if I can get away with doing this. I can. Ha! Fuck with me now. Let's move it far away so I don't knock it down. Just make some of these things be able to stand out a little bit more at a distance. And this is a pretty decent product where I don't feel like I have to use enamels or something stinky like that. Now I should be able to take exactly. Just trying to make this old kit look as good as it can look. Some people would say, like, why'd they even bother getting it? Well, it was there. I used the credit from Noble Knight, and they happen to have this, so I got it. Okay, you're back. You were blasting Sunset Superman by Dio. I don't know that I know that song. I may actually have heard it, but a lot of music, if it's not a band that I follow, and they didn't play it on the radio and tell you, hey, this is the name of this song, how am I supposed to know what it is? Dio. Doesn't he look like he's related to the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Didn't think I was going to say that tonight, did you? Did you like that show yesterday? I kind of surprised myself not really having a favorite tank. I really don't. I like so many of them. It's like almost impossible to pick. I don't think I could. Saw it coming a mile away. Okay, so he does look like him. Just a little bit of detail like that. You found my reaction to Ian liking World War I tanks priceless. You know, the only World War I tank that's Saint Chamond, or however it's called, patron saint of square things. I think your new internet is worse than your old place. The videos keep freezing up. This internet should be worse than the old place. It should be. I think it depends on how many. It's basically a cellular box. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's no fiber optic here. I can move. Let me move just for you. No, I knew it was going to be an issue. I just think it's actually better than I thought it was going to be. But I had horrible internet at the old house for freaking 19 years. And then we got that squared away and then we moved. And now, just to piss on a grave, they wouldn't put fiber in the old neighborhood. They wouldn't put it. The new neighborhood next door, they did put it in, and they weren't going to put it in the old one. As soon as we move out, within 1 month, they're already putting the fiber in. They said, "Oh, we're going to put." I hope it's so fucking expensive nobody can afford it. Bunch of assholes. It's all supply and demand. If people want something, give it to them. If you're moving just for me, come on up. No, your state's got weird problems. You got some strange cats running your state. Hey, what's up, Darren? What service do I have now? I have a T-Mobile 5G box. It looks like a little boom box. That's what I have. And it just so happens that the rest of our cell phone signal is on, it just happens to be T-Mobile. But they had Kinetic here, which I think the Romans had better internet than Kinetic. It's pretty painfully pitiful. It's as bad as the DSL we used to have in town. It's really, really bad. And once again, new neighborhood behind us, they get fiber. So I don't know. I really haven't had any problems with it other than the occasional streaming. That's your first mistake. T-Mobile sucks. Not for us. Not for the phones. My phone signal works everywhere. At least we have awesome internet, unlike Florida. Yeah, you also have houses that blow up to smithereens. We don't have that problem here. And then there was another state it started happening too. New York, Pennsylvania, somewhere else. I would expect that out of West Virginia, where there was old mines and stuff like that underground, gas leaks and shit like that. I said those explosions. If they had an F-18 that accidentally like dropped, I'm not entirely sure it wasn't a mob hit. I don't know that the mob has all that kind of ordnance. I'm telling you, it's worse than like a 2,000-pound bomb from a F-18. It was catastrophic. You know, you don't even have it. Those people didn't have enough time for their butthole to pucker up. You just got Starlink because I can't get fiber either. It's great. You still out in the boondocks? Starlink. I don't know. We're really happy. This was only $50 a month, and we're running everything off of it. So, but I love T-Mobile. We were on Sprint all the time. On the cell phone signal, we get whoever the wife gets, whoever she wants, because she's the one that gets those customer service calls. I just get angry with the damn people, you know. Everybody does some kind of customer service type job to some degree or another, depending on who your customers are. And, you know, you're not going to bust your hump Monday through Friday doing stuff for your customers. And then you go and you get treated like a piece of shit when you call somebody. Like, not me. I'll light you a new one. I won't get the internet I need, you know. I'll probably do myself in, but I'll teach you a lesson by God, you know. That's the wife makes those phone calls. I don't make those kind of phone calls. Customer no service. So just a little bit of detailing on here, and then we'll put it aside because we're not going to spray tonight. But I think the internet here is better than I was expecting it to be. And I told you it was going to be an issue here. And honestly, other than those freezing things, I think it's been pretty good. T-Mobile burned its bridge with me when they told me to go pound sand after my phone broke with a week left on my contract, and they refused to replace it as per the written contract I signed. And I was even willing to sign another contract with them, but screw them. They wouldn't play ball, so I flipped double bird and went to another company. Who'd you go to? Well, there's only like 3 now, right? Well, Sprint got gobbled up by T-Mobile. You got AT&T, and you got Verizon. And honestly, I never hear anybody say anything. You're the first person that said something bad about T-Mobile because most people don't have it. Most people either have AT&T or Verizon, and it's a mixed bag. I get a good signal everywhere, so you know. You still in stick. Starlink is $120 a month, a little pricey. Mitch's internet is even worse. Is it? I don't know who he has. Maybe it's you. It acts fine until you come. Well, at least we were able to film. If we had gone just with my phone over the cellular line, we'd only be able to do 720. So at least we were able to do HD with it. And what's amazing is the microphone didn't pick up his air conditioner, which is loud. It did a really good job of not. I mean, you can hear it in there, but it's not like deafening like if it wasn't with my phone. So hopefully, if everything goes right, I can get out of the office at a decent time on Monday. We'll do another one of them Mitch sessions on Monday. Find out what little he knows about aircraft. It's definitely my weak point. Believe it or not, I think my strong point's actually ships. I think ships is even stronger than armor. All right, where is the base for this guy? It could be any of these, right? All right, let's go ahead and just do. Let's go ahead and do them all. We're gonna have to put the base coat on it anyways. So let's get chocolate brown. Nope, that's leather brown. It's kissin' cousin. Flat Earth. That's not it either. All right, let's see. Is it this one? Nope. I should get those out. I should pull those out of there. That's the army painter colors that I'm not a big fan of. They just don't cover well. The colors selections they have are actually pretty decent. They just don't cover well. They cover weird like. Why is the Hetzer brighter colored than the other? Well, it doesn't have a wash on it, for starters. This is a late war Dunkelgelb that's almost like a buff. And this red is not the chocolate brown red. It's literally what they called rock brow, I think is what it is. I think it's almost like a primer red. So yeah, it looks like it looks like a bad fruitcake. But it'll end up looking okay. Got a lot better with that spray. I can't wait to airbrush again. Even this one turned out pretty good. And, next time I do it, I'll probably get even better at it. I've only been airbrushing for about 1.5 years. I've been hand painting for almost 40 years. So I ought to be better at the hand painting one. I'm surprised you told me that you dry brushed over your airbrush pattern too. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I just figured it needed to be softened up a little bit. All right, 3's enough. We got enough stuff going on here. But yeah, the Hetzer's pretty freaking bright right now. So we're doing like a 1945 Hetzer. I'm surprised we were on for 4 hours, but we were having a good time. Army Painter paints are meant to make you have to use a number of coats to get coverage, so you use more of the paint, you have to buy more. Well, don't say that on a certain bulletin board. You might get shunned and kicked off of it. I was on a bulletin board or a Facebook page a while ago, and I joined it because of the name of it. Had a really unique name of the Facebook group. I'm not going to tell you what it is in case some of you guys are on it. But I don't generally post anything negative because it's not worth arguing with people, right? I'm not on a crusade. I don't care if people have a different opinion than I do. I don't care if I'm going to convert anybody. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm well over 5'6", so I don't have to prove anything. Anyhow, I joined this group and they said something about, they were talking about the old Games Workshop paints. You know, these guys. And how good they are, you know? And I made some comment like, you know, it's a shame that they don't make them because they used to make really good paint and their stuff now is very good. And they're like, several people like jumped on me about like arguing with me about, oh, you're just bad-mouthing Games Workshop. I said, well, I'm not freaking sleeping with them, you know? I didn't say anything back to them. I just left the group. I'm like, fuck you, you know? No, it wasn't Army Painter. It was a freaking, it was the Games Workshop fanboys. Look, Games Workshop made great stuff, okay? And then they stopped making it. They cut corners. It's like they knew what the correct formula was, and then they said, you know what? We're just going to rate people. And it's like, no thanks. Now, the new Games Workshop stuff, it's okay. I still use some of it. It's not as good as the old stuff, but the stuff that came in between that one and the new ones was terrible. The hard plastic bottle with the hard plastic bottom with the hard plastic top. There's one of the colors like tin bits or something like that. It was like a copper colored. I literally used it one time, put it back, and then I never could use it again. That's a problem. You just don't get a good seal with that hard plastic on hard plastic. At least one of them has to be rubber. You dry brush over the pattern as part of the weathering process, but it's only on the wheels. Running gears and maybe lower hull areas where dust would naturally go. Otherwise, it's oil washes. Whatever would I do if I got kicked off a board dedicated to Army Painter paints? You badmouth Games Workshop on a daily basis. Well, okay, maybe not daily, but do badmouth their business practices and subpar products. You know, if you're going to charge a lot for your products, and I understand why they have to charge that kind of stuff for it, they spend a shitload of money on advertising. They got a lot of overhead. But at least make your products good. Now, their figures I can't comment on. They're made in a scale and of an interest that doesn't interest me. I'm not their market. But their old paints were stellar. Stellar. Regardless of whatever silly color they decided to call it. Catch a tan green or whatever the hell it was. Catch a tiger by the what? Your comment stands, just replace Army Painter with Games Workshop. Nothing worse than Games Workshop fanboys. Maybe Wizard of the Coast fanboys, but it's definitely a close fight between those two fanboy bases. In this corner! That's why I don't want to be sponsored by anybody. Not that anybody's ever come to me and says, "Hey, Tony, we'd like to sponsor you." It wouldn't do you any good. I wouldn't take your sponsorship. Because if you start making crap, I'm going to call you out on it. I don't have to be ugly about it, but you got to say, you guys made a good product, then you don't anymore. Well, we don't get your free stuff. I don't need free stuff. Thank you. Just tell the truth. It's really easy to keep your lies straight if you don't say any. Likely reason is it costs them too much to make the better paint, and since the old bottles have better seals, it means less paint being sold. I don't know. Market it more. Make them more expensive. That's never stopped them before. Oh well. I'd buy more of this stuff if I could walk into a store and get it. Coat the arms. It's literally, for brush painting, best one. Yeah, this thing it's a Russian tank barrel and it keeps falling off. It just came unglued. You can see the ugly ass orange color that's on the inside. Really unattractive. I don't know if that was the same one that unglued, but there's one of them that happened to before I took it out to get airbrushed. So I weld cemented it, and it's either the same one that is incorrigible and came out undone again, or it's the other one now misbehaving. Russians and their Russians with their barrels that don't stay on the tank. I knew Mitch's favorite tank was going to be the Panther. Without even talking to him about it, I knew it. He had that wearaboo look about him. I've heard real good things about Coat the Arms. Probably going to pay more than $4 a bottle of paint. Just not going to buy that paint. The only bad thing I have to say about Coat the Arms, I have two bad things to say about them. I can't walk into a store to get them. That's not really their fault, or maybe it is. And this little tab on here, see if I can find one that has it. There's a little tab to pull it up, and then there's the elbow, basically. And they both are liable to break. Other than that, rock solid. They even taste good. Nah, just kidding. I just eat glue. Paste. It's not glue, it's paste. Which is probably better for you and has more health benefits than whatever the drugs people are doing these days. Just saying. Games Workshop are now over $6? Wow. Citadel's a much better name than Games Workshop. Did some college from South Carolina sue them or something? They had to change their name? I wish we could probably solve a lot of problems in the world if we could just dispense with lawsuits and bring back duels. There wouldn't be those annoying billboards for attorneys on the highway for sure. That's for one thing. They have this one guy. I think his name is Dan Newland. He's an attorney. He's got his signs everywhere. Dan got me $4.5 million. Dan, he's just like he's a finder. Like he's some guy with a metal detector, just finding money for them. That college is called the Citadel. That's right. It's in South Carolina. I believe it's in South Carolina. All right, we'll let these things dry. Always got to be hopping around. I'm going to go ahead and give... We've got a couple of vehicles we need to give a wash to. And we did it in the opposite order on purpose as a test. This is a test to see if I'll do it again. Actually, several vehicles that need a wash. So we're going to move this somewhere that I'm not going to accidentally touch it and create a mess that I have to clean up. Down here should be fine. No move. Okay. I don't want to see this eyesore, so we're going to flip it. You kidding me? That soft-ass Generation Z can barely insult someone, let alone fight them with fists, let alone firearms. Well, you can use a sword in a duel. You don't have to use firearms. The generation after Generation Z is even softer. Yeah, my daughter's generation. I had to re-indoctrinate her when she came back from college. She came back for over Christmas break and she asked me, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Well, what did they talk about there?" It didn't sound like what she was telling them was right. Yeah, they just told you one side of the story. If something doesn't seem right, look it up. Strong tone. Oh, that's not going to work. Hope there's a bag in this garbage can. It's just water. It's only a bottle. Okay. We'll see if we end up doing this again. Because normally, I do this wash when, after I put the base color down and camouflage over it. Something don't seem right. When something doesn't seem right, make sure to punt. That's better. Maybe it didn't mix well. Maybe there wasn't enough in there and it was reacting with the moisture that was in here. All right, this thing is... Oh, this thing's about to break. Well, if it breaks, it breaks. We'll just epoxy in place. Let's take this off. It's a lot easier to put this on. Paint it, not on there. Okay. I'll say, blame my generation for not beating Gen Z enough. That's what happens when you go soft on kids. They grow up to be pansies and betas. What do I call that game store? Pussyfoot Paradise? That's not a good sound. It wasn't a good sound. Well, we'll super glue that thing later. Actually, it's probably a good thing because it makes it easier to get in here. The MG34 there in the top broke off. This thing has really brittle plastic. This is also probably nearly as old as I am. Who knows when this particular one was cast, but it was sitting in an extremely dusty box when I got this thing from Noble Knight. All right. Hetzer's got a Hetz. You sounded like Ivan Drago from the Rocky movies. What did I say? What was the phrase that I said? Ivan Drago. That sounds like... I don't know that I've seen all the Rocky movies. Well, first of all, I'm not a Stallone fan. Second of all, boxing? Really? Come on, man. Is that the guy from Sweden? Is that the character he played? I will break you. That guy sounds like his name should be Ivan Drago. Can't think of what his name is right now. I'm bad about thinking about famous people. I don't think about them every day. I'm not a fanboy of Hollyweird. If it breaks, it breaks. There's a place here that it's a chain, but it is a it's apparently a place where you can bring like video games, cell phones, things that you normally would throw away, and they fix it. And the name of the place is called You Break I Fix. That's literally what it's called. You Break I Fix. And every time I see it, you always have to say it with a Russian accent. You break I fix. Well, Mitch must be really bummed. He's not. He's getting into World War II, and he's not doing the Krauts. Dolph, there he is, Dolph Lundgren, and the character from Russia at the height of the Cold War. Really, was the height of the Cold War in the 80s? I don't know. I think Gorby kind of ruined it all. See, he looks better with that wash. But yeah, it's a lighter. I think it's called August 44 Dunkelgelb. It's a wacky color. And it's actually, this model has a lot of good detail, but it was a bitch to put together. The plastic behaved very strange. Okay, that one. This one, the Hummelmeister. Das Hummel. Now, I bet the next group of German vehicles I do, whenever that may be, let's pull this off, will end up looking better than these. This is a really poor model. You got all the running gear wheels down here at the bottom. They're not double-sided. They're all on one side. Like it literally does not even have the wheel on that side. What are you going to do? You're going to make the best of it. We're going to make this the best looking old-ass Hummel model ever. If we do that, we've done our job. Our work here is done. What vehicles am I going to paint next? I don't know. Should I do infantry? I should. Whether I'm going to do infantry or not. I need to do some T-26s. After I do this batch, I need to do some T-26s. I need to finish those Russian or Ukrainian models. T-26s. You break, I fix. We got the convention coming up in April. At the end of April. I doubt I'll find something to buy there. You know, because I do this wacky scale that nobody does. It's okay, I don't eat anything. Fortunately. I agree, comrade. Soviet Russia tank paint you, comrade. That's right. Sloppy. Sloppy jalopy. You didn't comment on my favorite tank being a BT-7. It's not. I just like how it looks. And it was an unusual pick. Like I said, I don't really have one. There's tanks I don't like, but BT-7 with the fast turret, not with the original BT-5 turret, because they couldn't get the other turrets made fast enough. Okay, there's that guy. And now we got 3 Su-76s. You actually like the T-26. I'm not sure why. It's because you're handicapped. T-26 isn't attractive, but at least it's a classic tank. I mean, you know, I don't hate it. You know. I have another movie suggestion, okay? You watched a movie called The Rifleman, or Rifleman on Amazon. It's about a Latvian soldier who goes through World War I and the aftermath. It's unfortunate. It's good, but it's unfortunately got meh English voiceovers. Oh, so it's not subtitles. Yeah, it's a shame. The Rifleman, huh? In World War One. I take it he was in the Russian service, right? In the Tsar's army. Wasn't on that point. I had to drop out before you mentioned the BT-6. You like the BT-6. You mean the BT-7, right? Is there a BT-6? I know there's a BT-2. There's a BT-5. The BT-7, BT-7M, which really is the BT-7 I like is really the BT-7M. It has the later turret. The turret it should have always had. Batushka. Give the man a batushka. As opposed to a babushka. Which is a hairy grandmother with a hairy upper lip. A Russian grandmother with a hairy upper lip. Babushka. BT-7. That's a good looking tank. And so is the A-20. But I can't remember if it really went into production or not. They might have made a few and might have had some around the Battle of Moscow and then just disappeared. Same thing with those 57, those T-34s that had the long 57 millimeter gun in the turret. They had some of those in 1941, and then they just disappeared. But that Soviet 57 millimeter gun, that's extra long. I forget what caliber it is, but it's a nice weapon. Seven viewers, man. Lots of night owls. So where can I advertise it? You said you didn't get the warning. I don't know where I could put it. That, hey, we're going to be on in an hour with Mitch and Tony, whatever, doing it. Where can I put that? I'd rather not put it in 50 different places. That takes time away from doing other things. Another reason I stopped doing DBA is I got tired of advertising this shit everywhere and then nobody's showing up to the games. And the last one. Hello from Australia. Working on Warlord Marions. Excellent. Basing them DBA style, but we'll try a few games. Yeah. Marion Romans. I just don't like them doing Civil Wars. I'm not a fan of Civil Wars. They bore me. Okay, Nordic, here's one for you. Who is your favorite Roman commander of the Marian period? So we're talking, what is it, 106 BC to 25 BC. And then guess which one mine is. And see if you got it. I didn't say which is your favorite, not which one's the best one. Obviously, Caesar did the most with what he had. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's your favorite one. That'd be like saying what your favorite World War II tank is, and it's like which is the most powerful one. No, what's your favorite one? You could have a favorite plane that's a piece of crap. Just happen to be your favorite plane. Favorite commander of the period. I'm gonna say your favorite is Marcus Agrippa. Marcus Agrippa's after that. Well, is he? No, I guess he's just towards the end. Well, I am definitely skewed by the Rome miniseries. So because Octavian was such a punk ass little dick, I can't stand him and anybody that was on his side. So I don't like Octavian, period. But that's me. You could like Octavian people all the time. What do you think mine is? See if you get it right. You get a candy bar. I don't know. Might as well paint the KV2 as well. We got the war shear as well. I don't know where the hell the lid. I don't know where the hell the hatch is for the KV. It'll turn up eventually. For the previous period, so for the Polybian period, my favorite Roman is Marcellus. Doesn't matter, he got ambushed. You're going to say Gaius Marius because he took the Roman military and turned into a well-oiled machine. No. Marcus Agrippa, what's your favorite? I guess that Marcus Agrippa was your favorite. Mine is Gaius Marius. No. I like Sulla. I like Sulla because he's, he relinquished power, after he killed everybody who he had coming to him. Unfortunately, if you play DBA, there's no army list for the social war. The other guys that weren't the Romans. You kind of have to fudge them together, or just not play it. I think that was the last one that we were doing, right? Pompey. I don't like Pompey because of his name pronunciation. It's annoying. Can respect the decision and sell it. Yeah. How to paint stink lines. What's a stink line? Man, the Vespa is narrow. I guess I never really realized that. And it looks like it's on a lengthened Panzer II chassis. I thought it was just dropped right on top of a Panzer II. No, I guess it's lengthened. Pulo and Varinos as a hero base. Yeah, the guy that played Mark Antony, he had all the good lines, though. That's. I'm not saying that the Pulo didn't have good lines either, but. Okay. Another thing that has to go bye-bye. You are done. Let's you know, there's too many you people on for me to leave. There's too many people on for me to leave. Yeah, Antony commanded the cavalry, exactly, on the other wing. I thought Julius Caesar should be on horseback, but there's lots of pictures depicting him, or at least a lot of artistic stuff where he's holding a blade with him as well, holding the, on foot. Too bad he wasn't as good of a commander as Hannibal. No, I don't believe that, but I wanted to throw that one in for you, Nordic. I forgot to bring that up last night. We'll remember that next time we do the show with Mitch, we'll bring up that you're the guy that thinks that Alexander the Great's better than Hannibal. We'll boo you off. Oh man, it'll never end. Okay. The base color Dunkelgelb is this one right here. Crassus, Captain Moneybags. Captain Moneybags. All right, certainly we need one of these that's dry. Yeah, this one right here. Oh, what fart is greater than Hannibal? Well, it depends on whose bum it comes out of, doesn't it? And I hate the Carthaginians. I really, truly do. I mean, I just like the Mongols more than the Carthaginians. I do not like the Mongols. think I'm a closeted Carthaginian. I would never sacrifice my own child for luck in the next battle, maybe. That's just moronic. That's absolutely moronic. Did Hannibal have any children? I don't think he did he? There's a fantastic series of books by the author Colleen McCullough called The Masters of Rome that deals with the period. Absolutely fantastic. I have 3 of them. And I wanted to get them on Audible, but they're only available abridged. I have 3 of them. And started reading one of them and lost interest. They're too soap opera-y-ish. And a lot of this stuff's just made up. The conversations are made up. So I just kind of lost interest based on that. But I did get them. I got them really, really inexpensive. They're like $3 a piece or something like that. Let me destroy my bookcase and show you in the process. First Man in Rome. Even looks like a slutty horror book. Fortune's Favorite. Oh, that looks like a, raunchy tale. And The Grass Crown, which I believe that's supposed to be Sulla. Yeah, well, here he is with the actors and shit like that. Anyhow, I started reading one of them and just lost interest. I'm certainly not going to read it now. We don't do that shit anymore. We don't do we don't do the alphabet games anymore. I probably would have driven myself mad if I was still doing it. With the way the workload is and the way the slack-jaw response of people at conventions. I just can't stand people, and it doesn't matter what it is, that they say that they're going to do something and then they don't. I get enough of that shit if they're in a work week. I don't need it on my free time. And I've gotten older and ornery where I'm just going to call people out on it. Like, those are horrible covers. The covers in Australia are very classic Roman in style. They look like cheap romance covers. They do. They do. Carthage kind of meh, but I dig Seleucids. It's because they got heffalumps. I like my boy Pyrrhus. Never did build his army. Oh well. If I do that shit, I don't do World War II stuff, so. Maybe I'll go back to it one day. Maybe I won't. Look, I stopped playing World War II for 20 years. I think Ancients needs a break for at least that long. Big problem with historical wargaming is too many of us chase the new shiny rule set and never stick to one rule set per period. Yeah, but I'm not one of those people. But yes, most people are like that. So, some of the old original DBA folks that I started playing DBA when I started playing DBA many years ago, that left the DBA fold, are now all signed up to play Art de la Guerre at our next convention. In 5 years, they won't be playing Art de la Guerre anymore. Guaranteed. And I won't play Art de la Guerre for reasons I've mentioned many, many times. I want to see you go back to Sea Creek, to be honest. You know, I have the rules. Joe runs it all the time. I love the ship stuff. It's in my blood. I mean, I know it. And if I play something, it's got to be... Sea Creek 4 is what we played backwards and forwards. That was the... I mean, we played hundreds of games of it, which is nothing compared to how many games we played at DVA, but, you know, I love the ship stuff. I really, really do. But the problem with the ships is that if you don't have a love for the ships, if you can't look at a bunch of ships and point them out with a naked eye, then I don't think it's really a game for you, because it's really about those weapon systems and knowing what they do and like, oh, that's this and that's that one, and seeing them in action. If you don't get that out of it, then I don't know. I just feel like you're missing something, you know? It's kind of the same reason I don't get into Napoleonics. I don't get into it's just not a period that I'm fascinated by. Did you watch my review of that book that my dad had on the coffee table? That's the one that was the catalyst for me loving all those ships. Anthony Preston, is that what it is? Something like that. The older I get, the more I find miniature wargaming boring. Painting miniatures is a nice hobby, but the motivation is dying. I find finding hex and counter wargames killed miniatures for me. Well, you do you. I don't see modeling, building models and knowing you're not going to do anything with them. That's a waste of time. Hex and counter games, I just don't have the time to set them up. Leave them set up. I like hex and counter games, but I want them on a computer where I can just say, you know, go, and they can save it. So, can you imagine playing a hex and counter game with somebody like Mitch? He'd knock those big tower of freaking of counters down constantly. That'd be a disaster. I'm curious to see how the Panthers are going to look, because I think they're a little too dark. But if I can't salvage them, I'll just repaint them. I haven't done one vehicle yet that I haven't been happy with how it turned out, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. I like doing this. It's almost like a streak effect. Like it rained and some of this airbrush stuff streaked on a little bit. Of course, we're still gonna weather over it. You do the undercarriage? We did. We need to find tweezers that open wider. Open wide. This has these weird mufflers that stick way away from the body, so they can supposedly wade at a bigger depth. They just look so odd to me. Like they forgot to put one of them on there. Like, oh, we forgot the muffler. Oh, just throw it on top. No one will notice. Now, both of these are going to have the same style numbering. And it's probably either going to be hollow black numbers or black and white numbers on both of these. Or all black numbers. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, this one improved a lot by what I just did to it. It was a little too bright on the colors. Did we do the Stuke? We did do the Stuke. Okay. All right. Well, I got them here. I might as well do the Panthers. You Russian piece of shit. Come on. There we go. Yeah, some of those tweezers are way too expensive. Is that rain? Sure sounds like it. Yep. Well, it's not a thunderstorm. We had a couple of thunderstorms that ran through here on the weekend that I'd unplug the TV. I didn't have to unplug the TV. I chose to unplug the TV. Oh man, look at this morass. This is about to fall off. We're going to have to epoxy that on there. This is about to fall off too. Yeah, I think the Panthers will look fine. You need to find tweezers that open wider than an inch. Sure, you could mail order all that stuff, but who wants to pay shipping on that? Not me. Yep, I hate paying for shipping too. We'll glue this barrel on later. I like German tanks that have the smoke grenade launchers here on the turret. Like the Panzer IV-G, they had them on here. It just looks better. I like them. I like how they look. That's what they said at the tank factory, comrade. What? You break, I fix? You break, I fix. I will break you, and I will fix you. Let's go ahead and glue this, and then we're going to call it an evening because it's 10:15 and I did not get very much sleep last night. Oh, let's not do that. That's finished. Put it here. They said we'll glue the gun on later, comrade. I don't think the Soviets had any tanks with dummy guns in them. Only the Germans were stupid enough to do that. I think the silliest thing that the Russians did was they had a flamethrowing KV. I believe it was called the KV-8, and its main armament was removed, and they put a flamethrower in the turret. But usually the Soviet vehicles kept their big gun, and just the flamethrower was a replacement of the battle machine gun. So, okay, folks, that's it. That's going to be a wrap for this one. And we will see you guys on the next